Hello. In today's module, we will be discussing an important concept of personality. What makes you the way you are? So let's start with the introduction to personality. What exactly is personality and how it is derived? The word personality, it has derived from a Latin word which is persona, which means to speak through. This Latin term, it was used to denote the mask that the actors used to wear in ancient Rome and Greece. It is the sum total. What exactly is personality? It is the sum total of ways in which an individual reacts and how he interacts with others. But in the field of organizational behavior, when we talk about personality, it is the aggregate of a person's feelings, his thinking, behaviors, and responses to different situations and to different type of people. How he responds to different type of people, that basically is personality. Now, everybody has a different personality, and our personality differentiates us from other people. So, an understanding of someone's personality, it will help us get clues about how the person is likely to act and feel in a variety of situations. And in an organization, it is very important. It will help in effectively managing an organization because an understanding of different employees' personality will help in managing things well. Now let's see what are the different personality determinants. That is how we determine a person's personality. So a personality is made up of three different factors. That is the biological factors, environmental factors, and situational factors. So first look at the biological factors. What exactly are the biological factors? The first biological factor is hereditary. So, personality can be hereditary, that is, it can be transmitted from parents to their children through genetics. And for example, in some research, it has been shown that human temperament is transmitted through genetics or through hereditary. Next biological factor is physical features that also determines your personality. What exactly is included in the physical features? The physical characteristics can be your height, weight, attractiveness, your skin color, your gender, and so physical characteristics or physical features will also have a tremendous influence on a person's personality. The next personality determinant is your environmental factors. Now, in the environmental factors, the first important determinant is your family and social factors. Now, social processes such as interaction with our parents during our childhood, that may have a great influence on our personality. So, let's say, when we interacted with our parents, we picked up some of their behavior. For example, if a child is brought up in a violent home, he may grow up to be very aggressive. And also different social factors, for example, the society that we live in, the cultural environment that we face daily, the community that we interact to, they all are included in this factor. So relationships, coordination, cooperation, interaction, environment in the family, organizations, workplaces, communities, societies, they all contribute to our personality. Next environmental factor is a cultural and religious factor. The culture that we live in, that also which involves the traditional practices, the norms and customs, or the procedures and rules that we follow in our house or in our society, that also is an important determinant of our personality. For example, let us consider the let's say Jain community. If in a family, the Jain community, they do not eat onion and garlic, or let's say if they are practicing not eating non-vegetarian food, that also is incorporated in our personality and in our behavior. Okay, so creed, religion, they all play an important factor in the personality. Next is the situational factors. What different situation a person goes through in his or her life also determine their personality. Let's say, for example, a person had gone for an interview, and the type of experience he had, or the exposure he got during the job interview, that also may shape his personality characteristics. Now let's look at the personality traits which are relevant to our work behavior. That is, what are the different personality traits that we need to look at when we are looking at people for their work. So the first personality trait is self-esteem. Another one is locus of control. The third personality trait is self efficacy. Fourth one is self monitoring. And the fifth one is emotional intelligence. Now, let's look at these five personality traits in a little bit detail and understand how they can affect our organization and our work behavior. So, the first one is self esteem. Now, when we hire a person, we see the self esteem of a person. If the person has a healthy self esteem or if the person has low self esteem. If a person has healthy self esteem, he will have qualities, that is, he will be able to say no to, let's say, wrong things. He will be able to accept his or her, they will be able to accept their strength and weaknesses, and they will be able to express their needs. But a person with low self esteem, as you can see in the picture, they will have trouble accepting positive feedback, and they will always have a fear of failure. So, when hiring somebody or when having somebody in an organization, you should look for people having healthy self esteem. So, it refers to an individual's self worthiness. It is the extent to which people regard themselves capable, successful, and important. People who feel good about themselves will produce good results, and people with high self-esteem, they tend to take up more challenging assignments and are more successful. And people with low self-esteem, they are more likely to suffer from depression and greater stress. So look for people having high self-esteem. Next personality trait is your locus of control. What exactly is locus of control? It refers to the extent to which people have control over their life and their fate. So there are two types of locus of control, as you can see in the picture. There is internal locus of control, and there are people with external locus of control. Now, people with internal locus of control will say things like, I make things happen. Look what I can do. I can determine my future, which means that they make things happen, and they think that whatever is happening to them is because of them and not because of some outside force. While people having external locus of control, they believe that whatever happens to them is because of some outside force like luck. So they will say things like, there is nothing I can do about my future, why bother, why does everything happen to me? So they think that things happen to them and they don't do things, okay? So people with internal locus of control, they believe that they control what happens to them, and they put in more efforts and seek opportunities for advancement. So look for people having internal locus of control and not external locus of control in your organization. The next personality trait relevant to work behavior is self-efficacy. Now, what exactly is self efficacy? It refers to the belief that a person has in their own capabilities to perform a specific task, how much they think they are capable of doing the task. For example, in this picture, you can see a man who is working very hard. It's 2:15 a.m. in the morning, and he is working hard, and he's thinking that if I work hard, I will be successful. That is, this person has high self efficacy. So, people with high self efficacy, they have strong self confidence and have conviction to complete a given task. They respond to negative feedback with increased motivation and effort. While those with low self efficacy are they are more likely to give up and reduce their motivation. The next personality trait relevant to work behavior is self monitoring. Now, self monitoring refers to the extent to which a person adjusts to his or her behavior to external factors, how well you can accommodate changes and how well you can adapt to those changes. So, those with high self monitoring will notice changes occurring in the environment and they will adapt to it. So, here you can see a person wearing multiple hats and adjusting or adapting himself to those different needs. High self monitors, they can exhibit contrast between their public persona and their private self. And low self monitors, they cannot disguise their behaviors and they tend to exhibit same behaviors in all situations. So they are not able to adapt to new changes. So you should hire people or you should have people in your organization with high self monitoring. Next personality trait which is relevant to work behavior is emotional intelligence, which is a very important personality trait. It refers to an individual's ability to be aware of one's feelings and emotions and the extent to which they can manage them in dealing with others. Now, emotional intelligence, it consists of five main abilities. The first one is knowing one's emotions, which means self-awareness and recognizing one's feelings as it occurs. Next is managing emotions, that is handling feelings and emotions appropriately to the relevant situations. The third one is motivating oneself, that is, directing the feelings and emotions in such a way to fulfilling the desired goals. The next one is recognizing emotions in others, that is, empathizing and understanding the feelings and emotions for others. And the last one is handling relationships, that is, being able to interrelate, communicate, and work with others. Now, here you can see a person having low emotional intelligence. What will be the different signs through which you can know that the person is having low emotional intelligence? That person will be very argumentative, he will not be listening, he'll be blaming others, and he'll be having emotional outbursts. So, try not to have people with low emotional intelligence in your organization. There's a part 2 of the personality video available in which I've explained the Big Five model and the MBTI model. So do check that out as well. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.